Alright, looks like we've got a guest appearance. Come on in, man. What's up? Hey,
What's up, Field Stories?
Let's go. So we have Dick here. So yeah, this is how it all started. The only reason I'm here is because of this, man.
It went fast. Man.
Yeah, so damn fast, right? Oh, that's so cool. But yeah, well, these are the two Snake Patrol co-owners. It's so cool. But yeah, well, what have you been up to, man? Well, you're looking very, very sweaty out there.
I'm really fucking nasty. No, I was cleaning a trail in the back over here. So it's going to be like an educational trail for Snake Patrol.
Epic.
So that's going to be super cool.
Epic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool, man. Yeah, just briefly, any thoughts since you came on the podcast?
Man, it's been amazing, man. Yeah, the amount of things that have been happening is crazy, and it's just so cool to have you around. And he's been making crazy shots. So yeah, I'm really curious of the results on that.
Me too. I'm a bit nervous about the time frame, but I'll try and get them out for you, man. But yeah, no. Well, thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah,
honestly,
man.
I've had the best time I've ever had. Like, honestly, it's just ridiculous out here. Come to Suriname, everyone. Crazy.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm going to be freshening up, and then
we'll catch
see you guys later.
Thanks, man. See you soon. Alright, Dick Lock, everyone. That was good. Hello, guys, and welcome to Field Stories Podcast. My name is Nick, and I'm here with Fenne. Not even going to attempt the surname, to be honest. As much as my Dutch is improving, I've learned the word for speed bump. I'm not going to go for that one, so I'm going to let Fenne introduce herself and tell us what we're going to be talking about.
Well, Nick, thank you for being here. My name is Fenne van Esseveldt. I've been living in Suriname for like on and off 4 years now.
Cool.
So I would love to share my story and why I live in Suriname and what it is that I do here.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, it's cool. Well, the logo is in full show, so I'd like to know, well, I know a little bit, but the audience would like to know a lot about what's going on there.
Yeah, so actually the reason I decided to move to Suriname is because together with my colleague Dick Lock, we created a foundation that's called Snake Patrol Suriname. So the first time I got here in Suriname, snakes have always been my favorite animals. So when I got here, I was really happy to see all the nature and all the animals and all the snakes that live here. But I also noticed that most people who live here don't share that passion. Snakes generally over the world are misunderstood animals. A lot of people are afraid of them, think they're aggressive, scary. It's really sad. Yeah. So I thought, okay, we have to do something to educate people about these misunderstood animals. And also because Suriname is the greenest country in the planet, it just happens that you will encounter wild animals. Even in your house, in your bathroom, in your garden, they can be everywhere, and they are everywhere. So people had a lot of unwanted snakes in their houses, and because they are afraid, they often kill the snake.
It's a massive problem here.
Yeah.
Well, everywhere, to be honest. Everywhere in the world, it's not a Suriname problem.
No,
everywhere
definitely
problem.
not. Yeah. So Dig and I spoke because we have the same passion. We were like, what can we do to not only save the snakes of Suriname, but also be there for the people that live in Suriname? So that's when we created Snake Patrol. We relocate unwanted snakes from people's houses to their natural habitat. But then we thought, like, eventually we would love to see that people have a snake in their garden and they'd just be like, oh, I know it's a boa constrictor.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it because it doesn't do anything.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's chilling.
It's like long term, but that's our goal. But you need education for that.
Yeah.
You need to know about snakes, just a basic, even if it's just a basic, like what do they eat, which one are venomous or not, how can you see when they feel threatened, all these kinds of basic things. So that's when we started to give workshops for mainly kids, because it's a long-term goal, but also for adults, like big companies, we provide trainings, so they learn how to safely relocate a snake if they encounter it during their work.
So nice.
Yeah, so that in a nutshell.
Yeah, well, that's perfect. I mean, that's some introduction, and it's exactly what, obviously, what we'd be looking for. So there's a few things I want to sort of piggyback off the back of that. So you guys may remember on episode 9, I believe, Dick Locke actually came on to our podcast. And that's sort of why I'm here, and how I met Fenne, and basically a whole lot of crazy things happened since then. But yeah, ever since I talked to Dick on the podcast, I needed to come to Suriname. It wasn't a want, I needed to come to Suriname.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the stories he was telling were incredible, and I'm sure we're going to be having sort of similar stories in a bit. But yeah, just off the back of what you were saying about the snakes in people's houses, gardens. Actually, on my first day in the country, I got to experience that firsthand because I was just eating my lunch and roti, amazing here, by the way. The food here, unbelievable. And I was just having a bit of roti, and I came down, Dick came down, and he was like, hey, we got a dog coming to visit for a bit. You know, it's anything goes out here. Right? So I don't even know where that dog's come from, but that's okay. Anyway, to continue with the story. Where was I? Okay, yeah, so Dick just comes down, he's upstairs, shouts down, he's like, hey, do you want to finish your lunch? Or do you want to come catch an anaconda with me? And I'm like, first day in Suriname, I'm like, oh, I'm still jet lagged, I'm still traveling. I'm like, well, sure, I mean, can I eat the lunch first? No, we got to go now. I was like, oh, okay, I see how it is. Ditch the food, get in the van, and it's about an hour drive actually, it's quite far. But anyway, we turn up, and we're like, where's the snake? And it's an anaconda eating an iguana, or like swallowing down an iguana in somebody. It's like a pond outside of. You saw it, right? It was like I'm not sure if it was part of their property or if it was some sort of wild bit near there. Anyway, the locals didn't want that snake there. Understandably so. It was quite a 2.5 meter one, I think, something like that. Three. So like between 2.5 and 3 meter snake, and swallowing down an iguana, so cool. But so we had to bucket this anaconda, and we gave it its meal back. So by the time that we got home, it had begun swallowing down the iguana again, so it didn't go hungry. That was good. But this summed up my experience here very nicely. Is I was sitting in the back of the van with a beer and an anaconda next to me, and then it just starts hammering down with rain.
Oh yeah, that's
absolutely hammering down with rain, and not just like regular tropical rain. Oh my god, just insane. And the city it floods. Yeah. So we're there going through this main city in Paramaribo in basically a river. Yeah. Just a full river with an anaconda and a beer, and I'm thinking, welcome to Suriname, man. Welcome to Suriname. And it just, what an amazing place. And it just summed up the whole experience for me, to be honest.
Yeah, that's an amazing first day.
Oh, it was insane. I was like, wow, okay. But yeah, you were also saying about it being the greenest country in the world, right?
Yes.
The first thing you notice, quite honestly, as soon as you come across the border from Guyana, which is what I did, just greenery. It's just green. It's jungle the whole way. Yeah. And you're like, how is this possible? Yeah. And I don't know if you want to tell a bit more about sort of like how vast it is, because obviously you probably talk about the interior, different things like that. I mean.
Yeah. So it's at the moment it's 93% of forest.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy, and I mean it's amazing, and it kind of shocks me that. Not no one, but a lot of people don't know Suriname.
Oh, no.
Like, even if you look at programs like all nature, wildlife related shows and programs and anything, like, it's barely taking shots of Suriname. Like, it's all other countries, which are also beautiful, obviously, but it's just weird. If you want to make like a show about nature and wildlife, why don't you just go to the greenest country on the planet?
Absolutely.
So I really hope for Suriname that it stays this green, and that they will see the value of this country being that green. But then it should get like more potential and more opportunities to show what it has.
Yeah, it seems like a really fine balance, right, doesn't it? Because we almost don't want too many people to come into the country, because then it's not going to be green. People are like, oh, there's opportunity. And that's where the problems come. But then such a fine balance.
Yeah, that's true, because I also meet a lot of tourists, obviously, and they love it here,
Yeah.
but they're also quite happy that it is not that touristic.
I mean, only Dutch people really. I mean, I met, like, not solely, of course, but a lot of them,
Yeah.
I'd say 90% of the tourists I've met here are Dutch.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, you learn about history, right, and know about the country.
A lot of people have family here, or
Mhm.
were born here and now live in the Netherlands and then come back.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, but it would be cool if we get like more international tourists.
Yeah, well, you guys are doing great. Obviously, Dick has the Unlock Nature tours as well, and Helping Suriname, as well as your Snake Patrol Suriname. So you guys are doing an awesome job of putting Suriname on the map. Because I mean,
yeah.
a bunch of my friends, a few of you will be listening actually, have messaged me recently and been like, I need to come to Suriname. The same way that I've been telling these stories, right, and I've been reposting Dick's work and your work, and everyone's like, oh damn, Suriname is cool. It's like, where is it? Africa, Asia? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
But I was like, no.
I think if you would come here and explore the interior, it just blows your mind. It's awesome.
Incredible. Oh, well, that's really cool. So, I think it's time for a story of some form. Would you like to share one of your Snake Patrol stories? I'm sure you have way too many to even try to think of.
Yeah. Well, there is one story that happened in March, and it just, when I tell people about Snake Patrol and their goal, that is just a story that keeps on, that's on my mind like all the time.
Yeah,
like,
that's great.
we were in March at an exposition for Earth Hour.
Yeah.
And so we had our own booth, and everyone was welcome to visit our booth, and there were also other booths, like anything nature and environment related.
Nice.
So we were standing there, we had a few snakes with us, we had some snake related games, our merchandise, and like our Snake Patrol team. So for people who are afraid of snakes or really love them, like anyone was welcome. It's like your first step to know more or learn more about snakes. So there, one time this guy or this man came in, and he was looking around like, what is this place? I don't feel comfortable at all, but he did look at our pictures and everything. And we had an emerald. Oh, yes.
I don't know how well you can actually see that. I think the camera's just slightly low. I'm hoping you can see this, but if not, I'll put a picture of it.
Yeah, this species. We had on a branch, and it's a tree snake, so it was just like chilling in this tree. It was just barely moving. So he went to the snake and he was looking. Okay, and then he was like, "Is it breathing?" So it was like, it's a real snake, and then he got like so scared, and he was like, "No, I gotta get out of here, and I'm afraid of snakes." And so we tried to calm him down a little bit, but he was like, nah, I don't want to do this. And then he went out.
Oh no.
So we were like, oh, okay, maybe we should tell people before they go to the emerald that it's a real snake. But then, even within a few minutes, he came back. He was like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna try again. So he just took another look at the emerald and was like, yeah, I really thought it was a fake one, and it looks, okay, he was looking at it, but still like shivering, like, I still don't feel comfortable. But he came back to look at it. We got a little talk about our foundation and what we do, and then even within a few minutes, he was like, nah, okay, thanks for the information, but I'm gonna go. Like, okay, if there's anything, just come back. Yes. So in a few minutes, he came back, and he started asking questions like, yeah, I've heard this about snakes, is that true? Because here in Suriname, there are a lot of statements that are wrong about snakes.
I can imagine, yeah.
So we talked a little about that, and he was like, okay, thank you. And then he went away again. And then he came back, and then we were holding Victor. Victor is our mascot. It's our boa constrictor. Victor the boa constrictor.
Just been with Victor.
Yeah. And he's been with us since the beginning, since he was little. And now it's been 4 years, so he's been with us for a while. And so he was looking at Victor, and then he said, like, can I touch his tail?
Okay, so it's a start. It's a start.
Like, okay, yes, of course you can touch his tail. So then he touched, and he was like, ugh. okay, no, I'm done. And then so he walked away again.
Back and forth.
And then we were like, okay, we'll see you in a bit. So he came back, and then he was like, can I maybe hold Victor?
Oh,
We were like, you want to hold him? Like, what?
That's
Like,
amazing.
yeah, that was so sweet. Yeah, of course you can hold Victor. So
Oh yeah.
he held back the picture, took some pictures, and he was like so surprised by himself. He was like, oh my god, I'm holding a snake. And
This is amazing.
okay, yeah, but he was still like, okay. Well, okay, happy, done. Okay, I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
for good this time.
So he came back
Oh.
with 2 other people and like literally said, come here and face your fears, like I just did today. It still gives me
so
goosebumps.
perfect.
It's
Yeah.
like the perfect example of how you can like overcome your fears just by getting the right education, knowledge, positive experience, a good environment. I think it was so cool. I mean, for him, it happened in a day. It doesn't have to happen for everyone in a day,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
taking the first step and then just encouraging yourself to learn more. And then he even said like, I used to kill snakes when I find them, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to
Oh, well,
call
that's
you.
nice. Eh?
You know, examples like that is just why we exist.
Exactly. Well, I like your slogan. Could you tell us what that is?
Yeah, so the slogan is the difference between beauty and fear is knowledge.
Powerful. I like it. I
It's-
really like
yeah,
that one.
because it actually makes sense. Like if you are afraid of something, like most of the time it's because you had either a bad experience
Yeah.
or someone taught you that it's bad or
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
But as long as you know like certain stuff about the animal, like how does it live, why does it do certain things, I don't know, just when you know about it and have a positive experience, it's
It's perfect.
yeah,
Oh.
most of the time.
Yes.
But it definitely works. So that was
Well, that's epic. Yeah.
and that is, I mean, that happens with most of people, but him being an example of like coming back all the time, and
forth,
especially
yeah.
at the end, like bringing people like come
Perfect.
here and face your fear, like it's possible. That was so awesome. Yeah, really cool.
Love it. Right. So I think that sums up basically the work that you want to be doing with Snake Patrol. I mean, it literally is perfect, that
Yeah.
story. I mean, the entire point is to go from the education, or not the education, you know, from fear to
Yeah.
reality of, you know, it's fine. It's absolutely fine to be around snakes.
Yes.
Oh, it's so cool. It's just what I love about the community of the conservation world. I mean, the amount of people, personally, I've met just through other people's organisations and other volunteer work. We mentioned Dick before, he's come on the podcast. I've now met Fenne through that, and a lot of other people. I mean, I could countless number of people here I've met in the last few weeks. And then obviously that all started from Chris, who obviously is not with us in Suriname now. And it's just really cool that everyone can sort of connect and communicate with that.
Yeah.
But obviously, so Snake Patrol is volunteer work, right, for you?
Yeah.
So what about your job and career? How does that look?
So Snake Patrol is voluntarily work, but I also have to have like, a job to provide myself. The first time I got here, I did also volunteer work for Sue for You, which is a company that provides tours for tourists in the interior. And I mainly did volunteer work at Fredberg and Celiba, which I really liked. And then because the first time I got here was during when
Sorry,
Corona.
could I interrupt just quickly? Could you tell people what Fredberg and Celiba are, just quickly? Just a real brief.
Okay, Fredberg is like a place in the interior, and then you go up to this mountain that a guy named Fred.
So, this story needs telling, actually, to be honest. It's actually crazy, isn't it? Can you tell people about his story? It's amazing. This is a little side story within Field Stories.
Okay, so we have Fred. Fred is he lives in Suriname, and he's one of the best guides of Suriname. He's an excellent birder. So he went by plane, helicopter, I don't know, but he was like flying above the interior, and then he saw a spot, like a mountain, and he was like, can I do something with that? And it wasn't discovered yet, or it wasn't used yet. So then he went on an expedition to find the mountain, and then he found it, and then he created a base camp at the like not at the feet of the mountain, but like a little further. He created a base for people just to stay to sleep. And then one night you go hike to the mountain, and then you sleep on top of the mountain.
Nice.
And it's the view is like, it's incredible.
Oh,
it's like, I've been there, I don't know, 20 times at least, but like every time I get there, I'm like mind blown. It's like full broccoli all over, and macaws flying over, seeing spider monkeys, hearing the howler monkeys, the sunset, sunrise. It's really cool. So he created Fredberg.
I don't say.
Named it after, of course.
When people told me that, I was like, okay, Fredberg, it's a mountain named after maybe Michael Fred from the 1800s or something, an explorer, like one of these great explorers. No, he's 35 or whatever, in his mid-30s. And he's just claimed the mountain for himself. Because I always think of like Mount Rushmore or like a big mountain or something, and it's named after an old guy. This guy's in his mid-30s, he just claimed a mountain. Fredberg.
And it's really cool because like it's one of the things you must have seen in Suriname, I think.
Don't tell me that, 'cause I can't go.
No?
I haven't got time.
Make time.
Oh, tell Dick.
Or next time. Maybe you just come back. Yeah, so that's Fredberg. And then we have Celiba. So actually Fred and Stanley, they created Soup for You together. And Fred has got his Fredberg, and Stanley created Celiba. And it's a little area that belonged to his family, so he built glamping. So we have like teepee tents where people can stay. It's like more a glamour camping. So you have your teepee tents where you sleep in, but we also have a pool and a hot tub, and like the chefs, they cook amazing food.
Wow.
And it's near the Suriname River. So you can sup like on the river, and at night you can have like a campfire and a walk through the jungle. So it's also like one of the prettiest places to relax. It's awesome. So that's where I've been the entire time, like doing volunteer work. And I came in 2020, right before Corona. So when Corona came, I had to go back to the Netherlands, but when it was over, I wanted to go back as soon as possible. So, but then I told Stanley, like, I do want to still keep working for Soup for You, but I cannot do volunteer work because I have to provide myself. And then he was like, no, I understand. I actually am searching for someone who runs Celiba. So I was like, well, that's awesome. So of course. So I got to manage Celiba, just make programs, make sure it looks like clean and good and everything, and that everything just works the way it should be, which is awesome. I just love seeing how it grows and how it keeps getting prettier and better, and especially I can see still more people are coming to Celiba. So that's one of my jobs. And then recently I started working at Clevia Park, where we are now. And where we're also gonna collaborate with Snake Patrol. So there's gonna be a snake education center here at Clevia. But first I created a wildlife education center here. So Clevia is already a beautiful park surrounded by nature, and it focuses on nature, culture, education, health.
It's beautiful.
It's
really nice.
So I built a wildlife education center where everyone is welcome to learn more about the animals that live in Suriname. Not only by like looking at amazing pictures and reading signs, but also doing like interactive games and going for a walk in the forest.
I'm also seeing a squirrel monkey skull, piranha teeth and different things.
We have a few museum pieces.
It's really cool,
to show,
I love this place. It's nice.
So those three things are the things I do here.
Well, that's epic. Sounds like you've got a nice mix there, right? Oh, it's perfect. So I guess my natural question after this is what does your future look like? Where would you like to go? So obviously there's like what's actually going to happen, and then where would you like to go?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine as well. Yeah.
I do know I'm feeling home here, and like the nature and the wildlife that you have here is just breathtaking, and it's. Yeah, people ask me like, don't you want to go back to the Netherlands? But like, besides my family and friends,
No.
I wouldn't know what to do there. So no, I think for now I'm gonna be good here in Suriname. In the future, I would love to travel more because I haven't seen a lot of the world yet. I've only been to Thailand and like countries in Europe. But I would really love to go to Africa, Australia. Like even visit more countries here in America, so I still have a lot of dreams to see more of the world. Also, just to see how other countries are doing, like conservation-wise. So yeah, but I'm just not a big. I mean, I have a lot of dreams, but yeah.
It's nice to hear that you're happy here. I mean, I can see why. I mean, the amount of people I've met here who have just visited once and then they moved here
that's true,
straight away, right? Or maybe visited a couple of times.
Back,
and they can't keep coming back. I mean, I did one of the tours for Unlock, and I was just filming that one. And one of the guests, it was his 8th visit.
Wow!
And in that time, he hadn't been to any other countries in between. He just came back every time. He just loved it so much that he thought there's nothing better to do. And where else would I need to go? I mean, I can agree and disagree with that personally, but also like this country is amazing.
Yeah, and even if let's say you come here for 2 weeks. Okay, you can do like a few trips, you can go a few places, but you haven't seen everything, like not even close. So you can come back like 8 times and see different things every time.
Well, I've been lucky enough to do the filming for 3 of the MacLeod tours. Each one of those wildly different. I mean, just the same place, same tour guide. Mike's a legend, by the way. Absolute legend. He's lived in the jungle his whole life. He's just an absolute legend. Anyway, and he knows the place like so well. But sorry, Seaben, if you're listening to this, you might be. But for one of the guests that was with us, we were hunting for the giant river otters for 3 days.
Hunting?
As in not trying to find them, not like actively hunting them. I was like, Mike, this is a different tour. We're going to go hunt all the animals. This is why they're different. You can nothing like that. So we're looking, searching for these otters for 3 days, right? 3 days. The only thing they wanted to see was these. We were seeing some amazing birds, and they really liked the birds. The birds are great, but otters, right? 3 days, nothing. Not a sign of them. Mike had a right headache. He was like, where are these otters at?
Because you normally see them.
Right? So I found that out because the next guests we had, it's a lot more of a relaxed setting. It's sort of like we're getting up and going. The first group was very much like 6 o'clock, leave, go, fine. This one was like, we'll wake up at 6:30 and leave at 7-ish. Like, it was very relaxed, chilled out. Like, we're leaving now? Sure, I'm ready. Like, there's no panic, no bit of chill. And then, we found the otters, we found the manatees, we found...
Manatees?
Yeah, we found lots of manatees. We found all sorts, 5 of them on that day.
Wow, that's crazy.
And we were just seeing everything they wanted to see. They were just super relaxed. And then the third one they did, literally within 5 minutes of driving, so we were being dropped off in the interior of the MacLeod River for a kayak expedition. And within 5 minutes of picking the guest up, we were driving, otters. 5 minutes in, otters, and we're not even trying. We had a mission to do. We had to leave them after a minute because we had to keep going.
Wow.
So it's like these guys spent 3 days looking for these otters. Nothing. 5 minutes into one trip, otters. There you go.
I think you can better just go and don't have any expectations. Because that's always, right? The thing that you want most. It's mostly
every time. It's nature to blame.
Maybe they should have said, I actually don't want to see otters.
They were trying that, but I think they couldn't say it with enough conviction. They kept saying, we're not looking for otters, but they obviously were.
We had actually the same thing with Herb. Last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, last year too. Herb came here, and we were looking for the Bushmaster.
Oh, sure.
And we started at 7 at night, and like literally we stopped like 7 in the morning. So we were walking like for hours and hours and hours, and we saw other snakes, which was cool, but I think it was 1 or 2 o'clock at night, and then we were like, okay guys, I don't think it's gonna happen anymore, let's just go back. So we turned around, went the same path back.
Oh Lord.
And everyone was already tired and like giving up, and then all of a sudden Brian was like, Bushmaster!
So
Everyone like, what?
That's unreal.
That is all. I mean, sometimes I have the same, like if I'm searching for something and then I'm like, okay, screw it, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I give up, and then
It's when you give up hope. It's always that last minute.
yeah. But now, I mean, it doesn't work because now sometimes I do it on purpose. I'm like, I'm giving up.
Yeah, that doesn't work. You
What
can't.
are you?
You can't do it. You can't fake it. You have to actually give up.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man, I've had that with so we have short-eared owls and like these really cool owls. You can probably get them in the Netherlands, right? I don't know if you're aware, but sort of like a European bird.
Yeah.
And I went to this location for days and days in a row, for hours and hours and hours. I was just fully like completely given up and like just like defeated. I was like, oh, packing my stuff up, and it just comes past in the best lighting, best everything, and I got all the best pictures I've taken in the UK.
Yeah.
Like 5 of the best pictures I've taken, all from one encounter after putting all that time and effort in, and it's just all time, and just sums it up, doesn't it? But that's what brings you back to, especially a country like this. I mean, that's the UK I'm talking about, right? Well, there's nothing compared to here.
Yeah.
So you think about like, oh well, we had a sad encounter, didn't we? When we were doing the night cruising.
Yeah.
There's the bush dogs.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've spoken to anyone here who's seen a bush dog alive in the wild. I can't think of Fred, of course. He's got his own van too. He's seen the bush dogs. So.
He's seen them.
So personally, I've not spoken to Fred. So I've not spoken to a single person who's seen him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were driving. We're like, oh no, dead puppy or dog. It was like, oh wait, no, it's a bush dog.
Yeah.
So it's so sad. Like I may or may not leave a picture that we took on, but it's very sad. But there's encounters like that ready to be had if you're lucky enough. So that's what brings you back, right?
And because then you know, like, okay, they do live here.
They
are
live here. Yeah.
I mean, that's the same with the Clelia story.
Yes.
I mean, you obviously heard that we have Clelia here in Suriname, but it's I don't know if someone has ever seen it like alive, maybe like years ago, maybe. I can even count on one hand how many times people have seen it.
Yeah.
But so we are always been looking for it.
Yeah.
And then recently, I think a few months ago, my colleagues Matt and Marcos, they went road cruising, and during road cruising you also see a lot of dead snakes, unfortunately. But so they saw a snake, pretty big one. And then they were like, what's that, anaconda? Okay, just stop, let's go back. What was it? And it was just a Clelia.
Oh, that's crazy.
But it was killed. But they were like, what? Like, Clelia, that was even a big one.
Yeah, it looked large. Right?
So they were like, there are, like here in this area, there are Clelia. So we've been to that area like a lot of times after that. But they actually saw a little one again, but also roadkill. Yeah. So, but that keeps us like, okay, they are somewhere, they are alive because we know we've seen them. So that keeps you like motivated.
But it's funny with the Clelia. Chris, you'll like this one. So everyone was talking about the Clelia. Clelia is like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that in Peru. They're like, what? Because it's like it's the nemesis snake here. Like no one sees it. It's like the like jaguar of snakes around here. Like, and it's just like it's so hard. It's just whatever. People don't see it. And I was just like, oh yeah, I was with Chris, we got a Clelia, like in Peru, and they're like, no way, what? And I think obviously they're more available there, but I just sort of played it off like it was nothing. I've seen them. I was like, wow. I was not knowing obviously it was in Peru and stuff. But,
so in other countries you have them a lot, but
It's crazy. That's
Here they are very rare.
well, that's wildlife again, isn't it? I mean, I was talking to my friend Sandra, who's here too, and we were saying like you go to one location and it's like you see a glimpse of it. It's the grey-winged trumpeters at Brownsburg, right?
Yeah.
He said he's seen them once before in Ecuador, and it was like boom, and it's gone. Like it's a flash. It's like, oh, what's that, a grey-winged trumpeter? That's crazy. And it's like it's the only time he's ever seen it. And then you go to Brownsburg, and they're just walking up to you. They're like chickens, just hanging out. Like, and it's like, well, okay. So yeah, location matters a lot.
Yeah.
But I just want to point on the roadkill around here. It's crazy. I mean that the same trip we did, we were out for about 6 hours, weren't we, road cruising? So it was 5-6 hours.
Oh yeah.
That night, so we went to the border of French Guiana and then sort of made our way back once it got dark. And we found a dead bush dog, 5 camandors, these small tree anteaters, and just loads of dead snakes everywhere. And we found one alive snake.
Yeah,
and its guts were hanging out.
Oh yeah.
Guts were hanging out. It was barely alive. So we obviously we took matters into our own hand. But it was just like, it's just destruction. I mean, it's anywhere where there's so much wildlife and fast roads. They have fast main roads, almost like main roads. Yeah, you're just bound to get loads of dead animals, and it's sad.
Yeah, it's really sad because you can also encounter like live animals, and it's really cool. But you also encounter a lot of dead animals. Yeah, the same at Marataka. We did a lot of road cruising there. There were a lot of snakes there.
The Colombian rainbow boa.
Yeah, for example.
Numbers.
Yeah. But we went but we went on one road, and then when we went back, we encountered a dead crab-eating raccoon.
Oh man.
So, but then we knew, like, okay, when we went that way, it wasn't there. And when we came back, it was, you could see it was fresh. And that's just heartbreaking. And I mean, I don't want to think about people doing that on purpose, but if you just see crossing an animal,
slow, please. Someone beg you to slow down.
Yeah,
I understand some of the snakes can be quite hard to see actually in the road. Some of them are relatively small, or they look like other things in the road.
Yeah.
Like, I can kind of understand that, but a raccoon, that could be someone's pet dog, or
Oh yeah, dog. A lot of roadkill dogs as well.
There's a lot of stray dogs, so
True. Like, I don't think I ever driven that road without seeing a dead dog. It's so sad.
Heartbreaking.
It's really heartbreaking. But so I don't know if it's because it's like you said, we don't have a lot of good roads.
No.
So the good roads you have, they drive so fast.
Yeah.
And then even you might be too late with braking. Like if an animal crosses.
Well, it's the way that, it's just the mindset of how people talk about those roads. It's like, just go. It's just straight from Paramaribo to Marataka. It's just fully straight. So and that just implies like go for it.
Yeah.
Like you're not really concentrating because it's easy driving.
Yeah. True.
But okay, it's easy driving, and it is. I've done that a couple of times myself. And you drive, but animals everywhere. I actually saw a live anaconda go in front of my wheel.
Wow.
Thankfully, I didn't run it over. I mean, it was straight across. It was about 2 meters, and it slithered across. And luckily, there was another guy coming the other way. He braked and stopped for it, and completely stopped. I'm grateful for that. Just would not want to have witnessed that massacre. That would have been horrible.
That happened actually at Marataka. We were also driving that road. And then the situation happened that a squirrel monkey crossed the road, but it went it was crossing the road, and we wanted to avoid it, but there was a van next to us, so we couldn't go right. So we took it slow, but the monkey just ran against our wheels. We heard boom. We were like, no. But it was still alive, it was fine. But in that scenario, there was nothing we could have done because we couldn't.
Scratch,
but it was fine, thank God. But I mean, you can't. No, but and it went so fast because you don't see anything, and then all of a sudden this monkey comes up the road.
That's the thing. It's it's all well and good being always be alert, but you could be alert, but what are you gonna do, man? You can be as alert as you like, but if something fast coming out in front of you, you've got no chance.
Yeah. So maybe a few signs.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Watch out, traffic and wildlife,
Oh God. Anyway, I feel like we should end on something a little bit more positive. There's going to be so I'm probably just going to ask you for a nice, positive wildlife encounter that you've had. That maybe, I'm going to say I challenge you to make it a non-snake related one.
Oh shit! I was just thinking like, I have a cool snake.
Okay, no, you know what? I've changed my mind. Go on, snake one. If it's a cool one and you've got it, you can tell it.
And otherwise,
Maybe
I'm going to think about another one.
We can sneak in another one at the end. We've got time.
Okay, so I was with Jordi and Matt and Marcos. We were at Fredberg. I like the area. And I mean, obviously, we were looking for snakes.
Yeah, of course.
And we had some goals. We had the emerald as a goal and the anaconda as a goal. Well, mainly those two.
Yeah.
So it was raining quite hard, and we were sleeping next to the creek. And then the guys were like, "Okay, we're just gonna walk the creek because like anacondas and emeralds are gonna be in that place." So I remember that we saw an emerald like high up in the tree, but it was like way too high, but we saw it. And then we also saw slender.
Cool.
And actually we were like discussing like, can we look at it from up close, can we reach it? And then so the guys were looking that way to the slender, and I was walking, and then I looked to my left, and then I looked back, and then I was like, I saw dots, and then I looked again, and I was like, guys, anaconda! And it was just like laying next to my feet. It's like a little one, but it was like, anaconda.
It's amazing.
That was really cool. And then we continued, and then we thought we saw another slender, but it was laying on a branch on the water.
Okay.
So we were like, hey, it's a slender, it looks a little bit orange.
I see, yeah.
And then we went to it, and it was a juvenile emerald.
That's awesome.
And like, to be honest, like that is a goal since I got to Suriname. I want to see a juvenile emerald
really nice
because like
dog,
you can see now they're green, but when they're little, they're red.
So
it's
cool.
So pretty.
They look amazing.
And so we were like, oh my god! Like, we were standing in the rain in a creek, just found an anaconda, looking at an emerald, like a juvenile emerald. It was like mind blowing. It was so cool. And then we went back to our camp, and then we were just chilling in the creek, just talking about everything we saw. And then I was like, I think there's a snake above our camp.
Yeah.
And it was another emerald. It was just like crossing our hammocks, like
as you do. It's just like, you know,
that was
it's just
awesome.
there.
Yeah, we were just
What
sitting
day, by the way.
like in the creek, looking at the stars, looking at an emerald crossing above our camp.
That's the thing.
It was a really cool, yeah.
It's the thing is, you don't need to leave the camp sometimes
No.
for wildlife spots. The marathon tour we were just on, we had to remove a slender. It's like a nice orange one, really nice and orange. It's beautiful. I got great pictures of it, and it's we had to remove that from the guest hammock, like just above, like, you know, there's like the little roof hatching.
Yeah.
And they had to remove that because they weren't, obviously they didn't want that there. And then there was a tarantula just coming down, and just like pink-toed tarantula coming down. They were like, okay, get the broom, move that. And then in the morning we were like talking about all of that, and we were just joking about, oh, if there are any tarantulas in here. And it's like, oh, there's a sloth. And the sloth was in the roof. The sloth was just, you saw that, right?
Crazy.
There was a sloth just hanging in our roof. Like, it looked like the roof. I mean, it looked like the thatching and the material. I was like, what the? And it was soaking wet, so it was like, and it hadn't rained for a few hours, so it'd been there for a while. I mean, I'm sure we would have noticed it come up. I don't know, it could have been there for, God knows how long. I mean, it was really wet, so maybe not that long, but I was like, and it was a two-toed sloth, which is what I gather is the rarer of the two. I guess they're around in numbers, but.
Yeah, but that's so cool. Sometimes it's just like everywhere.
Oh, and there's a Chironius, like just the Fuscus, just by my hammock in the morning. Mike was like, oh, there you go, snake. What's happening here? I was like, you don't even need to leave the camp. A massive iguana too. I was like, wow, I'm having a great time.
Yeah, true. I do have a non-snake story, if we have time.
We have.
So we went to Caballego.
Okay.
It's like a place like further in the interior. You have to only get there by plane.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
And we were just actually chilling. We had a view like on the airstrip and then the river behind it. And then we were just playing games, and then all of a sudden I saw a capybara like coming up to the airstrip. And so I was like, hey, look, capybara.
Cool.
And then from the other side, a puma came.
No shot.
So the puma was like attacking the capybara, and then together they like disappeared into the forest. And I was like, what? What is happening? I was like, oh my god. And then I don't know if it's a smart thing to do, but obviously we went there to check if we saw anything, which we didn't. But we were like, oh my god, this is like, was this real? Like, how?
That's insane, right?
So that was already pretty cool. We were talking about it the entire day, and at night we went to check for snakes.
Of course.
In the edge of the bushes, and we were with another couple, and so we were just like looking with our lights into the bushes, and then all of a sudden this guy says like, it's here. And we were like, what is here? Yeah, it's here, it's standing here. We were like, what is standing here? Yeah, the puma, it's looking at me.
Oh,
and we were like, you gotta be kidding. And then Jordi said, yeah, he's right, I can see his eyes, he's looking at us, like he's standing in the bushes looking at us.
Terrifying. But brilliant.
Yeah, but I still didn't see it, so I was like, yeah, I don't see it. And then Jordi was like, it's moving away now. And then, but actually it came, like, I think 10 meters from us, it came out of the bushes, like, onto the airstrip. He turned around, he looked at us, and then he was like, and then just turned around. But then he walked into the, into the park, into the, where everyone sleeps. So we were standing like, what's happening?
That's insane.
And also, like,
absolutely insane, yeah.
In your mind, I mean, obviously you're so happy that this is happening, but also scared. And like, what do we need to do? Do we need to? Yeah, it's a And then, so we actually also went to the camp to warn like the owners, like, there's a puma in the camp. And then she just came with like massive camera to take pictures. That was really cool. So that was it was epic. I think I didn't sleep that night. My heart was like pounding. Like, okay, we were just like face to face with the puma.
That's insane.
And then the next day, we just saw him again.
Yeah. He's hanging around then.
Yeah, we were just having breakfast, and then he was like walking over the airstrip again. We were like, hey, where are you again? Yeah, it's really cool. It's actually, maybe you can check later. See on the sign with cats. That is the actual puma.
Wow.
That's a picture.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one that we saw.
Damn, that's cool.
It's What? And it's pretty cool because another time at Fredberg, we saw one again.
Yeah.
I was walking with Jordi alone in the forest, and then he was like, I hear something. And he was like, Fenne, there's a puma. And also like 10, 15 meters away from us. Just look at us, like, and then just walked away.
I heard about it, yeah. Chris the host, co-host today, he's exactly a similar story.
Yeah.
But just looked in, the sort of swings off.
Yeah. It doesn't mean I'm not scared anymore, because you never know, but
yeah, of course.
It's really impressive.
It's just a gentle reminder that they are around, because it can be quite easy to completely forget about that.
Yeah. So really cool. The cats in here.
Jaguars?
No, I see cups.
Yeah?
Yeah. Fredberg. Also Fredberg.
Get me the Fredberg, man.
Yeah. It's been a while, but like I missed the mom, because we were driving back to the city, and apparently the mom wanted to cross over, but then she saw the bus, and then she went back, and the cubs, there were two cubs, they were like disorientated, because they were like, are we crossing over or not? So that hesitation made me give the time to see them. It was really cool.
Wow. I think that's a pretty nice ending, to be honest. We've had some misery with the roadkill, but so yeah, it's a nice positive sandwich, I think, because we had the snake, the education, perfect, some sadness in the middle, and then nice fun toys. It's a good reason to come to any tropical country, to be honest. Is the chance of seeing these amazing animals. I mean, are you going to see it? Probably not. But you could. I mean, and then when you do, I can imagine that's mind-blowing. Yeah. So,
I think that's because a lot of people think, okay, I'll go into the jungle and I'll be surrounded with animals everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's not a zoo, so you can know what you're gonna see. It's always gonna be like an experience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, even less so than like here compared to I've done quite a bit in South Africa, and you've obviously got vast open savannas to search for, and you have a big animals available at all times. Like elephants are regular. You can see lions quite regularly, and buffalo are big things. But the big animals in the jungle. I mean. Once every so often.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Whereas like the jungle's more about your snakes, your frogs, the invertebrates, all the little things that are happening, and the birds. The bird life is incredible here.
Yeah.
I mean, forest edge and rivers are the best place to see them,
Yeah.
but you can hear them and they're around in the forest. I mean, in numbers as well. They're lots of just like. What blows my mind about Suriname is just the abundance of life, just how much there is.
Yeah.
It's mesmerizing, to be honest. Like, just life everywhere, even in the cities and the towns, and it's a wonderful country for nature enthusiasts.
Yes.
And I think it's probably a good place to wrap up. So yes, thank you very much for coming on, and really enjoyed that one. That was great. So have you got any closing thoughts before we sign out?
No, just like you said, if you doubt about coming to Suriname, don't doubt, just come.
Don't doubt,
No, it's just, you will not regret it. It's one of the most, I mean, I haven't been in a lot of places, but even when I talk to people like you and people who have been traveling the world, they say like nature and wildlife wise, it's mind-blowing.
It's mesmerizing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a completely different experience. Like, I'm not going to compare it to Africa because it's just different. There's no point comparing. But for like their niches, oh my god, this place is wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on. That's great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And so I'm just going to finish off by saying that I'm not sure exactly when this episode is going to be launched, but as of when I recorded, I haven't actually been on an episode for 6 weeks or so. So thank you, Chris and Michela, for carrying the team. You've been doing amazing. I'll be back very consistently from October onwards. But this will be included somewhere along the line there, and hopefully everything we're talking about will be relevant when it does get published. But thank you everyone, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe on the YouTube. Check out the Apple Podcast and the Spotify, whichever one you have. And look forward to seeing you maybe next week, maybe another time. But thank you. If not, Chris will be running the show with Michela. So thank you guys, and see you later.